Hi, welcome to day 14 of 80 Days of Writing with author Alexis Marie Chute, yours truly. So I'm going to do things a little differently today. I'm going to first give you a slight tour of my writing setup. So let's do this. So here is one of the lights. I'm just going to turn it off. We're getting real today, real lighting. So here's the setup. You can see my kids' stuff. You can see the poster I used. You can see the book wall. Get a really nice, good close look at all this stuff. My desk, the chair. Some more lighting here. And I am going to take you to a special place, a place you have not seen yet on this adventure. So we are leaving behind the upstairs studio, the green room, and we are going down. Oh, you can see here in the background, I didn't even intend to show you guys this. Here is some of the stuff that we used in the book trailer. These are the Stephanus wings, the book trailer for Above the Star. So we've got the Stephanus antlers here. We've got the stone mallet of the bangles. We've got the headpiece of the Milia ruler, who's Signor Carish. We've got, these are the daggers of the Stephanus. We've got the boots over there. Some of my wood sculpture. So lots of cool little things. But I am going to show you something special. So this is where I usually write. So I'm going to put this camera on a tripod, and then I am going to sort of kick us off into day 14, which is a little bit different, a little bit special, with kind of a message from the heart. All right, let's flip this around. All right, now we're seated and ready. We can get going with this prelude to day 14 of my 80 days of writing. Basically, I have brought you down here to where I actually work, write, create, because I do want us to get real. Get real today on so many different levels. So in front of the green screen, it's fun, but it's also, not how I actually work on a daily basis. Usually I'm here amidst the mess and chaos and of everything. And I do think that this is kind of a perfect analogy. We often like to present ourselves that we have everything together and, we have this great facade and we're good, right? Whereas I think so many of us on the inside, we don't necessarily feel that way. So I do want to share about my own struggles with mental health. I think for me, being a creative person, I know there's been studies done about this, that creative types are more susceptible. Maybe it's because we're emotionally connected to ourselves and the world around us. I like to look at it as a good thing, a positive thing. I didn't always feel that way though. For me, I used to feel that my depression was something wrong with me. That even at the fundamental core of who I was flawed beyond love, beyond redemption. And I remember feeling so close to the end of life, back when I was in my undergraduate degree, studying fine arts. And I found criticism of my work. It felt like criticism, critique. It was very challenging and emotionally, spiritually wounding, and I didn't know how to protect myself back then. But something that I did realize in that, and this was 11 years ago, for me, I found that labels can actually be helpful. Sometimes we don't want to say, don't label people, but I actually found the label of depression helpful in some ways. So I left school one day and I walked to the hospital and I checked myself in and I said, I can't handle life. And through that experience, I went and I saw mental health professionals, and I learned that I was clinically depressed, and that on one hand was like, oh, like I can't tell people this because what are they going to think about me? And on the other hand, I felt like that label made it clear to me that, okay, other people understand this. It happens to a lot of people. I'm not alone. And I can work through this to figure it out. And so all my adult life, I've tried to sort out like how do I survive in this world while being a creative, wild, emotional, free-spirited artist, and yet also like, you know, not experience the tremendous highs and lows that depression can bring. And so for me, I have had, an experience with a wonderful therapist who I write about in my memoir, Expecting Sunshine. She was a savior to me in my dark season of loss after my son passed away. And every time I sat down with her, she said, I came in and I'd be like, I'm so depressed. And she'd say, are you painting? And I'd be like, no. And she'd be like, okay, well, you need to get into that painting studio and paint and make a mess and be creative in that physical, tactile way. And so that lesson I've really taken to heart and has been very helpful. I used to think that medication was a sign of weakness, that I couldn't overcome this on my own. And now I've realized that it doesn't numb who you are. It allows me personally, and I've gone through many to try to find the right medication. And so for me, it allows me to be level. And so something I want to talk about too, that I just had this epiphany today. And I don't want you to stop this video if you think, oh, this is girl time. This is not girl talk. I'm going to be talking about the female body, but I was debating about whether or not to broach this topic. But I think that it is important because maybe you are not a woman, but you are seeing one. Or maybe you have a daughter, and even for that reason alone, if you have a child as a girl, and I do, it is really helpful what I'm about to say. So for me, I haven't felt emotionally up for being creative in the last little while. Like even when I was writing in Banff, like I just felt like it was a challenge, and I was, working really hard to write, but it just wasn't in me. And this morning I just, like I said to my husband Aaron, I'm like, I just feel down. I just feel so down. And then I had something happen. I got my period. Oh, like don't say that in a YouTube video. My mom is probably gonna message me after this and be like, why are you talking about your period in your video? But that happening was sort of like having a label put on it. All of a sudden, I got my period and I realized where these crazy emotions were coming from. And so for me, I have found that taking the antidepressant and taking making a huge effort for self-care and stuff has helped me not feel my lows so deeply. But at the same time, like the physiology of women, it is a bit of an emotional, I don't want to say roller coaster, but roller coaster for lack of a better word here on the spot. And I do feel that labeling it, and not in the way of like being nasty, but like saying, oh, she just has her period, but in the way of saying like mental health is so tied into, our physiology as human beings. And I've never been a man. I have no idea what men go through. I'm sure they have their own challenges. But women, we really need to guard and protect and monitor ourselves so that we can take care of ourselves. And so how this all ties in to my time of writing is I'm just going to let you know, today I'm going to have a big fat 0 for how many words I've written. I am going to leave making this video with you. I'm going to go rest in a way that is soulful and relaxing for me, and you're going to see what that is in a second. But it's so important. I think it's important we talk about these things so that we can support each other and the people in our lives better, so we can take better care of ourselves. And you can ask my husband. I have told him in the past. He can ask me if I'm feeling down. He can say, is it because you have your period? It's all in the way that a guy asks that, though, or a friend or anyone. don't ever say like, ugh, like, is it your time of the month? Like, has Aunt Flo come to visit? That is one way to not support somebody who is feeling down. But it is totally right to say like, hey, is it like, your body just being out of whack because it's your time of the month? And so for me, when I got my period and I realized, like, now I understand why I am feeling so depressed. It gave me like this permission to like mentally separate like my emotions and like all the stuff in my body from who I know I am at the heart. I'm a joyful, free-spirited, goofy person, and recognizing that how I'm feeling, that's not me. I'm not fatally flawed. It is just a physiology that is happening. It's going to come and go. That gave me such a relief and the opportunity to refocus and get a new perspective on the day. And so yes, I do, because of that revelation, I do have the energy to do this talk with you for 10 minutes and encourage you to take stock of where you're at, how you're feeling. If you are creative, please, find healthy outlets. If you're feeling, the roller coaster of emotions is getting to you. But at the end of the day, like, I think the more we talk about these things, the better. So while I am mortified to share this video, I have to say I am like legitimately terrified. At the same time, I know that this is a conversation that needs to happen. And I'm going to keep this in mind for as I raise my own daughter and she grows up, and I can hopefully just be even that much more compassionate to her. So today I challenge you to show compassion to those in your life who are around you who may be struggling, but also like show compassion to yourself. Whatever that may look like, I'm going to go right now and do one form of self-compassion and I'm inviting you to come along with me. I invite you to please take care of yourself, especially on this creative journey. My husband reminded me this morning that I've set the parameters for these 80 days. I'm the one who has said, okay, well, I'm doing it every business day. I am going to write 2,000 words a day. And so while I have put those restraints on myself, I've also given myself the grace and freedom to live life as fully as I can. And you can't always force the creative juices to flow, no matter how much we want to, and how much I am going to try my darndest to stick to this schedule. At the same time, it's an evolving journey. So on that note, thank you for being with me. Thank you for enduring this. And I hope that we can move forward into day 15 tomorrow with some new words on the page. All right, have a blissful, amazing day. Thank you.